Hello and welcome. My name is JodieLynn Craven, founder of Abundance Consciousness, and this is my dear friend Heather Marie.
Hi, I'm Heather Marie, founder of Soulgate. Welcome to Channel Squared, where we have extraordinary conversations about everyday life topics.
We sure do. And today we're calling all Starseeds. There has been this heavy energy, and we got this message when we were channeling last week that many feel weary and some feel even hopeless, and we can't have our star seeds who are changing the planet quit at this time. So we're going to talk about what it looks like, how to regain that hope and that positivity and that excitement. And we're going to do a little bit of channeling today. So what's your
Woo!
take, Heather?
Well, I mean, look, we have so much going on right now. I mean, just the astrological environment, the political environment, the medical environment still, there's so much that's happening right now that it's understandable for people to be feeling tired or to be feeling drained, like they're just, wanting to give up, really. And the
Yeah.
thing is that we all came here for this time specifically, right? Like we came here for this. So hopefully today our conversation is uplifting and encouraging, and those star seeds that are looking to abandon ship, don't yet, because we need you.
We need you. This morning, I
Mm-hmm.
was doing some channeling, and the message that I received is that there's more people waking up like every single day. There's more people than you think that are starting to see this and seeing it in different capacities, which really landed for me and I think is really important. Some people are starting to see, like, awaken to the corruption in big pharma or our government, or financial corruption, whatever it may be. There's these awakenings happening. But just the other day, I think it was on Monday, I was doing a podcast interview, and the lady is from Southern California, and she said, me and my friends feel like things are changing, and we kind of want to get out of the city and support one another and have our own farm and grow our own vegetables. And that is also a part of the ascension piece, is people feeling that and people questioning, why do I want to consume all of these things? Not saying that you can't have things that you desire, but it's that question of, do you actually want this stuff? Do you want your energy to be expended to get said thing? So the awakening is happening on a mass scale. It's time to kick it into high gear rather than, feeling hopeless. But what have you seen with students, clients, with the world? Like, how are star seeds giving up?
Well, I mean, I think the big thing is so many are feeling more tired. You know what I mean? Like they're just kind of like, and a lot of it is based on their consumption, right? What is the information that you're consuming? What is the news that you're watching? What articles are you reading? Who are you talking to? What are the types of conversations that you're having? And I think that this is part of the problem and part of the cure, right? Because part of the problem being, as you are having these conversations, you're talking with people about things, you're hearing stuff that, just makes you feel like we're not moving in the right direction. This is the problem, right? Your perspective is things are moving in the wrong direction. But when you have these very important conversations with your loved ones after hearing something on the news, it's really, this is the medicine, right? This is what you came here for, is to shift the perspective, shift the narrative, shift so that people can see that, a lot of what is out there is just incorrect, right? It's a facade. So, while you are experiencing this is the problem and the cure. because it gives you the opportunity to change the narrative, change the perspective. And this is really what we do as light workers, right? We are here to illuminate the truth.
Yeah. 100%. I like to think of it like a roller coaster. As you're watching things, as you're consuming content, as you're learning about things, you're either on the roller coaster of emotion or you're watching the roller coaster of emotion. And I would rather like watch it than fully participate. But if you find yourself participating in it, you're going on these highs and then you're going on these lows. I think for me anyway, what really works is challenging what I'm seeing and what I'm feeling. So why am I feeling this way? I'm scared that, this is what people are fearing. I'm scared that there's a war breaking out. I'm scared that, the financial system is upon collapse. I'm scared that my country is turning to communism. All of these things. And there are things that we can't bury our head in the sand about anymore. I love how you said we are here to illuminate. But we can illuminate without going on this roller coaster by questioning it, by questioning. So after we figure out what we feel, questioning, okay, what is the fear behind that? Because that's what we're worried about. War breaks out, financial system collapses, my country turns communism, whatever it is, those things, it's how it will affect your life. And I remember saying this a while ago. I found myself saying, oh, this is going to be rough. And then I challenged it. Does it have to be rough? Does it have to be this one linear way? And the answer is no. You've watched movies that were about war and, people were at home and yes, they were affected but in different ways. Does it all have to be a negative? And what about the beauty on the other side? We're all awakening to this new earth. That's where we want to be, this new density. And if it means going through this, it's still the excitement of what's to come next, what the possibilities are that are coming. So trying to take a step back as you're on this roller coaster and step out of the cart and say, okay, I'm going to watch it. And I'm going to be mindful of how this affects my life and how my brain goes into overdrive. And I have the ability to choose another option, another possibility while I'm looking at that, or even just looking at the possibilities for that matter.
Exactly. And, there's so many conversations that are going on right now, and some of them are very dark and very diminishing. It's almost like this strange oppression. And the thing is that if we look at this as an opportunity instead of a soul-sucking horrible experience, if we look at it as an opportunity, let's just talk about the last 2 years. We had this global pandemic, right?
Yeah.
And so many people looked at all of the things, myself included, I'm not immune from this, but everybody looked at the things that they lost, right? I lost a business. I lost my income. I lost this. I lost that. I lost this. I lost that, right? All of the things that was terrible about the pandemic. But what about the things that you gained?
Mm-hmm.
I look at the things that I gained and I'm like, man, I gained so much more than I lost. Yeah. I gained a community. I gained a new opportunity. I gained, the possibility of working from home. That's a huge one. Mm-hmm. And the people that are now going back to the office are probably going, oh man, I totally didn't appreciate the fact that I was working from home now that I'm going back to the office, right? Mm-hmm. But like you start looking at the things that you gained, clarity, right? We're starting to see so much coming out now about those last 2 years mm-hmm. in the news. And it's fantastic, right? The transparency is upon us, right? It can't be any more blatant than it is right now. Well, maybe it could be. But the point being that this is all stuff that we gained in that time frame.
Yeah.
So, you know, when you're looking at how things have affected you, have you really lost? Like, I want you to challenge that. Like, did you actually lose?
Yeah.
Because from where I sit today, looking back on the last 2 years and where I'm going, it is a win-win all the way around. Like, we are far better off today than we were 2 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel that same way with our family, you know, even though, you know, my husband has been unemployed for most of the last 2 years. It's interesting. We get into these cycles of believing things are hard. We have hard moments. Don't get me wrong. Everybody's got hard moments or whatever. But sometimes when we're going through those hard moments and they're sticking, like we're really in the mud with it, we get into this loop of like, it's hard, it's hard, it's hard. I'm exhausted, I'm exhausted, I'm exhausted, I'm exhausted, I'm exhausted. And you got to stop and actually ask, is that true? And looking back, I've said this a few different times, looking back at my husband's income and everything like that, being laid off and, you know, being on EI or whatever, jobs, like all of these things, I look at his income that he made year over year and how we lived our life, and the gaps were just filled in. I either made more money, he got opportunities. It was the greatest blessing for him to be home and support me as I launched, you know, really launched this coaching career and, you know, teaching the stuff that I'm teaching. And, you know, he got to live his dreams too with the garden, and he's so much happier doing those things. So even when he has odd jobs, I'm like, oh man, I really want him to be back out in the dirt because that's where he enjoys. We have been supported. And that is a narrative that, you know, has been distorted for us for a long time. And we talked about this when we talked about currency is you are supported. The universe is always supporting you. And when you look back over the last 2 years, I want the people who are listening to this to go through and start journaling about how, like, the different ways that they felt supported or that they were supported. You know, someone randomly gave me this or did this for me, or this money came in through here, and really start to put it on a page so you can see how much you've actually been supported. So you can start shifting that narrative within your own mind of, I'm not supported and this is scary. If the universe supported you over the last 2 years, heck, your whole lifetime, multiple lifetimes, why wouldn't you be supported now as we're having the most epic transition this world has ever seen?
Yeah. And, you know, one of the things as you were talking that popped into my mind was, you know, for those people who have lost loved ones during this time frame, right? And I don't want to minimize this at all whatsoever. So I'm saying this with the utmost love and respect and appreciation for what you have gone through. But experiencing the pain from the loss of your loved one, that pain that you sat in that moment as you said goodbye, didn't that bring forward all of the love, all of the joy, all of the sweet memories that you had with that person when they were here? Maybe it even brought up some disappointment that you didn't spend as much time with that person as you had wanted to. You know, even that, in that extreme place of loss, did that bring out a different perspective of, wow, I did not even realize how much I loved this person. That in and of itself is a gift in extreme loss, you know? Yeah. Anyway.
I agree with you. There's always another perspective that we can take when we step out of the frame. I love that you say that all the time.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard to see it when we're in the frame, but when you step back, you start to see it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, Trisha had a question here. We might as well answer it right now.
Mhm.
Do you think these are reasons behind the Great Resignation?
I think so. I mean, I think that there's two things that are happening here. I think the first thing that's happening is that people are waking up to the fact that they want a different experience out of their life.
Mhm.
Okay, we had a time frame where it was work hard, money doesn't grow on trees, you have to grind until you get it, right? It's just this hustle and grind mentality. And this was something that, and maybe I'm wrong on my time frames here, but I'm just going to throw it out here. Somewhere in the 30s, I think this was sort of really indoctrinated into the working class, right? Of you have to freaking work your ass off to get everything that you want.
Yeah.
And so generationally, this passed on from generation to generation. And in about the 1970s, maybe even a little bit before that, we had a great influx of star seeds that arrived on this earth plane. So, there were some that were already here from before, but there was really like a spiritual rollout that happened in the 70s. So you have a lot of souls that came in that were like, this is not going the right way, and we need to start preparing for this great transformation that's going to be happening, in another 20, 30 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this group of souls came in, and these souls are being more and more amplified to the future.
Yeah.
Right. So a lot of these souls are arriving, they have arrived from the future. So you have souls like mine that have come from past lifetimes of hardship and persecution and torture, right? To bring light to the world and help people see that, hey, there is always a light at the end of the tunnel. Let me help you see it, right? Let me help you get where you need to go. And then you have souls that have come in that are, have learned various lessons, and they're like, let me show you a different perspective. And then you have these ones that are coming from the future. And these ones, a lot of these came they started kind of rolling in the kind of late 80s, early 90s,
Mm-hmm.
and beyond. And so a lot of these, I'm going to call them kids. Okay. A lot of these kids that have come in, they are like, no, I'm sorry, Starbucks. I don't want to work for minimum wage and get, horrible schedule. Like, I want to go to the beach with my friends. And it's because they came from this experience that is a little contrary to the experience that the earth plane has experienced so far. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I think that this is part of two. I think that's one part of it, right? And I think that the other part of it is that as these souls that have come in, they're starting to wake up, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, oh shit, that's why I came. Oh yeah, I'm going to quit. I'm going to quit. And if we all quit and we all just quit together, then we can change the way that the world is being operated. I
Mm-hmm.
think that really is the catalyst behind this great resignation. I mean, maybe you got a different perspective, but that's kind of what I pick up energetically when I read the situation. What do you
Mm-hmm.
think?
I forgot that there was a great resignation going on. That's so interesting because I was just listening to something that said the jobs report is up, and that was a good thing. I was just preparing for a financial client the other day, and I completely forgot that was going on. It's so interesting how things are censored and shadowed and not picked up by mainstream media, and the narrative changed. But that's the feeling that I get too. The image that I get as well when thinking about massive amounts of people quitting is like arms linked together.
Mm-hmm.
Together we win. Together we can't be stopped. I mean, there's not enough government personnel or army personnel in any one of our countries to take on the entire nation all by themselves.
Right.
Even great armies. People have power when they stand together. And I think it's so special, people standing in their value systems, in their belief systems. This is wrong. And I don't believe in this. Therefore, I will not stand for it. I'm going to, vote with my pocketbook, whatever, use my feet and leave. And I really think that that is special, coming together in that way, because it takes a lot of courage to quit your job, and a lot of people they've said no to, having, the thing, to having the banana stick or whatever it was called, the pew pew. I don't remember. I don't remember what we were calling it before, but everybody knows what I'm talking about. I think that is choosing you. And I think it's broken, or it's had the potential to divide families. And I've seen it within my own family. And I'm still able to find good things and, what I am grateful for. Like my parents just, believing in the decision that I made, that it's right for me, even if they don't understand it, that I did what I wanted to do, that it was my choice, and really, supporting me through that decision. And some people don't have that in their lives. And some people are ridiculed for the choices that they're making. You're quitting a job that pays you a pension just because over a little shot. Like, right. It's more than that. We've diminished our values for so long. What is important to the average American, the average North American, these family values that I think that our countries were both founded on have been diminished greatly. And it's a beautiful thing to see people link arms, if not physically. Some of them are physically, but link arms symbolically and say, I'm with you. I stand for you. And I stand in my values of what is important for me. Yeah.
Right. And I think that is truly the beauty of being a starseed, because let's just talk about starseed, just the term starseed, so many people think, oh, that's not me. I'm not a starseed. I'm just a regular person. No, correction. We're all starseeds, all of us. No one is more starseed than another person, right? You have a soul that is living inside of a meat suit. And that soul comes from something beyond the physicality.
Yeah.
We're all starseeds. So, when you see a fellow starseed having a hard time, offer a lending hand. It is who we are. That's, when you talk about, people linking arms and standing together for their core values and beliefs, it's a beautiful thing. This is the soul coming together with other soul family members, even people that they've never met before, but they know each other on the other side. And so they remember.
It reminds me a lot of the Grinch at the end, when they're left with nothing, no food, no ham. I don't remember what else they say. But then they all link arms around the tree and they sing the song, and I'm not going to sing it, but it's that feeling of coming together, and regardless of what's going on, we have one another. We're not alone.
Right.
We have one another. And that's just, it's really beautiful.
Yeah, definitely.
Vicky asks, isn't there really two parts to this? Those who are woke or waking, and those that are sleeping and may not wake. Those that don't wake up won't see the opportunity. Yeah,
indeed. And when we say woke, we're not talking about the woke kind of woke that you see on the news. let's just be really clear about that. When we're talking about woke, we're talking about that are waking up, that are awake to what is really going on. What is really happening? Why are we really here? Right? This is spiritual awakening. The amnesia that has been cast on us when we all got into a meat suit and reached 7 years old has now been lifted, right? This is the, woke that Vicky is referring to. And I think that, you know, there may be some that don't wake up. There may be some that stay asleep. And when they, you know, when they complete this life cycle and they head back to the other side, you know, maybe it could be that it's not their time to wake up. Maybe they were supposed to come here and have nothing but just regular Joe experience.
Mm-hmm.
I
And I
call that
think
drinking the Kool-Aid.
drinking the Kool-Aid. And I think there's levels of waking up or woke, whatever you want to call it. And not that one level is better than another, but some people started awakening years ago, in portions of their life. Maybe it was towards the medical system or the financial system or whatever. And some people have been, seeing all of this stuff, the reality, the truth of what's going on here for a long time. So because they've had that extra time, now they see a bigger narrative. But the individual who sees that, or even just feels something's not right, I don't know what it is, but something's not right. We can't count them out that they haven't woken up because they don't understand the full premise of it yet. I think anyway, I think they still have time to continue to wake up. And even just that feeling of something's not right. And I don't know what it is, but I'm going to start evaluating my role in this thing. Yeah.
I think another thing that I hear from, you know, clients and, you know, even family members who are, you know, in this spiritual arena is, you know, they're suffering the ascension symptoms, right? Part of waking up is that you are sensitive now to the energy, right? You've taken off the, you know, I don't know, the whatever it is that diminishes your connection, right? I think of it like a steel hat. You know, you've taken this off and you've got your tinfoil hat on now, and you're picking up on all the signals. So, you know, I think that for those who are feeling this, you know, ascension symptoms, this ascension illness, you know, you're tired, you're depleted, you're, you know, maybe you're physically sick, you know, with, I don't know, vomiting, diarrhea, whatever it is, right? So like, you know, you're going through these experiences because you are assimilating a new vibration. You're assimilating your vibration to a new frequency. And every time you elevate this vibration to this new frequency, you're going up and up and up. Yeah. I don't know if anybody here has drinking alcohol at altitude. Okay, you're in an airplane, you have a couple cocktails while you're on your way to Hawaii or wherever it is that you're going, and you're like, you know, I'm totally hammered.
I wonder why that's why I'm a poor drinker now. I can't one, and I'm like, wee.
Yeah, it's, you know, you're ascending, right? So as you ascend, things become more, just more. Everything's more.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I think something else that pops into my mind is the judgment that we have about where we're at and time. Time is illusionary. You know, when you're sitting with your best friend or, you know, your new boyfriend, you know, time goes by like that. And when you're doing a job that you absolutely hate, you can slow time to a crawl, and it's so arduous to get through it. That's based on our personal experiences. But when we're going through this, and if you're struggling right now because you are sick or you are experiencing these ascension symptoms, or, you know, you're just fatigued or whatever it is, take a break. It doesn't mean that you have to, you know, people are so afraid, individuals are so afraid of, if I take a break or I take my foot off the pedal, then I will become fat and lazy. I'll never get up off the couch again. And I've been thinking about this a lot lately. It's bullshit. Because you were put here for a mission, to get the most out of life, at the very least, to experience life. And eventually, when you've recuperated enough, you feel like you've rested enough, your body is going to say, your body, your brain, your whole self is going to say, I'm bored. I'm bored. I want to do something. I'm just doing this to be mindless and mind numbing and whatever. I go through this every 6 months. I recalibrate and reset like what I like to do. I go through these phases of I love to paint. I was just showing Heather my a painting I'm working on earlier today. I love to paint. And then I go through these phases of I love to read, and I will consume a book in a day. Like I'm just like, can't get enough of it. And then other times I just want to be outside. And we are beings that are ever evolving. But I promise you, if there's cake in your fridge, even the most delightful cake, your favorite cake, if you had a giant cake in your fridge and you were allowed to eat as much as you want, you never gain any weight. Eventually you'll get sick of it and you'll stop eating the cake. You'll put the fork down and say, I want an apple, or I want a piece of celery, for gosh sakes. I want something else. That's how we're designed. So if you're in that space of being fatigued, allow yourself to rejuvenate. Ask yourself, what would fill up my cup right now? What would support me right now? What do I need on a body level, but also a mental level? Maybe you need to watch, Bridgerton or something like that, or Love is Blind. No judgment. Do what you need to do to feel better at this time. Really take care of yourself, because once you do and you're back in, things will go fast. Every time I've ever taken a break, last week, I was like, oh, I need to get this stuff done. I had a project, I had an event today. And I was like, I need to get all of these bullets done. And I was forcing myself, and I was like, oh, I'm running out of time. And I know that when I go into force and beast mode, that everything breaks because my energy is messed up. I'm coming from an energy of trying to force something to happen, from anger, from frustration, from fear of running out of time. These are not things I want to sow into my actions of my life, because, the intention you put in is the intention that you're getting back. So I stopped myself dead in my tracks Friday afternoon, was like, I need a break. I have enough time to finish this. And when the words come in, they will come in hot. And I will have them right when I need them. I do not need to fear that I'm running out of time. So I decided to paint instead. And 15 minutes, 20 minutes into painting, all of these words that I was looking for and struggling for came to me. And I got out my yellow pad. And as I painted, I would write down just random things that were coming to my mind. And then I actually took the whole weekend off. And then on Monday morning, I opened up my document, and within 1 hour was done. Okay. You have time. You have time. Time's an
and I think that, like, we were talking this morning, you and I, about the machine, right?
Yeah.
I'm wrapping up a big piece of my life. It's closing out this week. It will be, gone at that point, and I am welcoming the change. And as we were talking about being the machine to try to get everything done, it's just such a thing, right? It's just, I'm going to be the machine. I'm going to get it all done. I got to be the machine. And we were talking about how our work in the spiritual, our, client work and stuff like that, you had asked me, do you find that you can be a machine in the spiritual like you are in the 3D? And what I mean by this is, for those of you who are new to the channel, I am a very experienced esthetician and permanent makeup artist. This is my 3D job that I am closing out, and we are moving. And so I am seeing the very last of my clients before I depart. And I am literally a machine in that business. It is like, I can just one after the other, right? But in the spiritual, I can't be the machine. I must take the rest period. If I don't, I'm no good to anybody. Mm-hmm. And I was telling you this morning, for all of our watchers right now, is that, I am like, gosh, I really just need to be the machine in every aspect of my life. But in this realm, I can't. I have to take the rest for myself. It's an impossibility. And if I'm not rested, I'm no good to anybody in this capacity.
Absolutely.
So it's important. It's important to rest.
Yeah. And know yourself when you need those times, when you need that space away from people, or, by like completely alone in nature, whatever it is, to make you feel better right now. And you have the time to do that.
Right.
Yeah.
There is plenty of time.
Plenty of time. Yeah. Start challenging that belief system that I'm running out of time, that I have to get it done like this. That's one way, sure. But a billion possibilities exist outside of that way.
So true. So true.
So true. Oh man. Should we jump into the channel and see what our guides have to say? Any guidance that we
Yes,
have?
and while we do this, we have a lot of star seeds that are watching right now. So you guys, if you have a question, now's the time to ask it. If you're struggling with something, you want to walk through something, talk about something, like, put it here in the comments so that we can address it while we have our channel open. We're happy to provide any support or advice that you may require. So, Jodie, take it away.
The only cost to you is a thumbs up.
That's right. You have to, yes, you have to like it. And if you're not subscribed, you have to subscribe. That's the deal.
That's the deal. Absolutely. Okay. I'm already in the channel. So while you're preparing, do you mind if I go?
Please. Yes.
Okay. So my guides are talking about the systems that we currently have in place, and really taking a step back to see them clearly. Do you love said system, or has it just become a part of your daily life and something that you rely on? Someone said it was important, and now you have said system. You can look at this with any, finance or healthcare or government or whatever, and start poking holes in the perfection that it is, because it's not. So my guides are saying, take a step back and look at the system that you're afraid to lose. And is it really, maybe there's some things that you like about it, or some things that are good, but is your fear really coming from the uncertainty of what comes next, of what replaces that system, or the fall of it and how it could be detrimental to your life? They're reminding us all that for new seed to flourish into a beautiful flower, we need to give it that space to do so.
That's amazing. So what I'm getting, what my guides are talking about is they're talking about as opportunities present themselves, don't be afraid to jump in. What is the worst thing that can happen? Absolutely nothing. Nothing is the worst thing that can happen. If you jump in and you fail, is it really a failure, or is it another jumping off point to something else? They're saying that there are so many opportunities that are being presented right now. It's literally a, jump into anything, take risks, enjoy the experience. That is what we are here for. We're here to have this experience. They're saying that so many are afraid of making the wrong decision, and that something bad will happen as a result of it. But it is not that it is a new opportunity, more opportunities, a path to lead to another path, to another path, to another path, that ultimately brings you not only a wonderful experience, but the opportunity that you're truly seeking. So they're saying that what is the worst thing that can happen? And the worst thing that can happen is that nothing can happen. Oh, I like that. That's nice.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
What do we have here in our chat? How do I know what path to take when I decided on one and now a totally different opportunity present itself?
I
Wow.
think you
I
just
think that
answered
message
that.
was just, yeah. Oh, funny. That's for you, Kat.
Yeah, that was gleaned right for you.
Trisha
Abusive.
says, I would love some advice for how to move beyond the busy work that I seem to think is necessary for my survival. Oh, yes. Trisha and I have talked about this before. I think
Mhm.
this would be good. Jodie, why don't you ask your guides about this and see what they have to say about this?
Mm. So they're saying dig deeper. So it's what the busy work is attached to, and the reason why you keep coming back to busy work, these busy work items. I see like this list and like a busybody. The reason why you keep coming back to is to what that is attached to, what it means about you to do the busy work. So what they're saying, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Trisha, is what they're saying is that there's this deep satisfaction you have in accomplishing things. And that satisfaction, that feeling of like, ooh, I got it done, is connected to being worthy. So that's where we need to start. If you want to start or stop doing the busy work, disconnect those cords. That satisfaction feeling, look for it while you're doing the things that you truly want to do and want to be spending your time on. And when you're in that busy work, notice how that satisfaction is fabricated, is at some point in your life, you decided it was satisfying and that set point is still there. So when you come back to the busy work, it reminds you of being satisfied. But are you truly satisfied in those moments? Question it. Seek the light of the truth within those moments and see you don't have to be busy all the time to be satisfied, to be worthy. You already are.
That's beautiful. And I think that it's really interesting. Quinn actually is on. Hi, Quinn. He says the universe is probably testing you, asking you what you want. Do you want this or that? And it's really interesting. I saw a meme that came across my, I don't know, scrolling one day, and it was something to the effect of, why would the universe give you the whole pie when you're still satisfied with the crumbs? And I thought, wow, God, that must have been channeled, that right there, So I think that is, what Quinn is alluding to here is, do you want what you say that you want? What are you committed to?
And I love how he just added, it depends on your perspective. It's both. Yeah, it's an opportunity and it is a test. And
yep.
I mean, okay, let's say you go down the path and you take the opportunity and it was a test and you see that. It doesn't mean that it's closed. It just means that you're getting closer to what it is that you desire and knowing what's for you, what you desire, what you don't desire, and like sorting through that. A lot of times we have these beliefs in our head that, if I have this kind of job or this kind of business or this size of business or this amount of money in my bank account, everything will be perfect. And then once you get there, you realize that no, because you take you everywhere you go. So you're taking all of the same stuff with you. So that it becomes that choice of what do you want more of in your life. And you're allowed to change your mind. Yeah.
Yeah, I think, I like what your guides and what you said about, you know, this set point,
Mhm.
right? The set point is so key. It's so key. This is something that you and I have worked on a lot in my own personal development. Having a certain set point, and if you don't meet that set point, what does that mean about you?
Mhm.
And every time I am confronted with, like, you know, why is my financial set point this, but I'm only making this, right?
Mhm.
And it's something that's just kind of just a struggle, right? But I think one of the things that is really key in looking at it is, what does it mean about me if I'm not at that specific number? What would
At
it
this
mean about
time.
me at this time? And
Yeah.
what would it mean if I walked away from that set point to create something new for myself?
Mhm.
Would that make me irresponsible? Would that make me foolish? Would people look at me like I'm an idiot for doing it? All valid questions.
Yeah.
But why am I why am I afraid of all of that?
Mhm.
You
Yeah.
know?
Afraid of a decision, like it'll be the wrong one. What is the definition of wrong?
Mhm.
Does it fit how you're judging yourself right now on is it the right or the wrong one? Probably not. Most people
Mhm.
probably have never looked at the definition of wrong.
Mhm.
But it's fascinating when you start looking up the words that you're using, because there are limits. They're what tells the universe what we want and we don't want. So I can't make the wrong decision. Well, you're not going to. Wrong, the
Mhm.
definition, just to give you a heads up, immoral, bad, you're an awful person. If you
Right.
choose A instead of B, does it make you an awful person? No. No. Even if you do something that, looking back, you wouldn't redo, doesn't make you an awful person at like a heart level or a soul level. You made a mistake. That's okay. You just shift on to the next one. Now you know that's not what I want. Yeah, that's not the one.
Exactly.
And for me in my life, that was really brought forward in terms of like dating. It was like definitely not the right one. Oh, I thought it was the right one. Definitely not the right one, over and over again, because I wasn't choosing. I was falling in and being like, oh, this person is so wonderful. And, I think I could be happy here and, whatever. Instead of, am I happy here? No, the universe knew better. Yeah. So they brought me Nate, my little farmer.
Yay.
Yay. But I can honestly say that every single, relationship I went through to get to this point was worth it.
Mhm.
Can't imagine my life any other way. I'm so grateful. And I feel like now I didn't settle for the crumb. I got the whole pie, key
Exactly.
lime pie. Yeah.
Key lime pie. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the thing is, like, I think that if you can look at other areas in your life where you have stepped out on the line and you said, I'm going to walk this tightrope and see what happens, I think you'll find that 100% of the time you were successful.
Mhm.
One way or another, it worked out for you because here you are today.
Yeah.
You know,
Absolutely.
I used to
Yeah.
get teased a lot, and I still get teased to this day about being a job jumper. When I was a young person, I went from job to job to job to job to job. I mean, I didn't work anywhere for very long. I think I worked everywhere in town. And, my family still just laughs in great hysteria about the fact that I never worked anywhere longer than like 2 or 3 months. Well, that's not entirely true. I did work at a couple places for a couple years actually. But the point being is that, when you're young and you're this fearless, oh, I'm going to try everything because I've got a support system at home, I'm still living with mom and dad and they'll take care of me. That didn't stop the jumping for me. I just kept jumping and jumping and jumping. even when I was having to support myself. And the thing is about it, when we're young like that and we're invincible versus when we're a little bit older and we've been jaded a little bit by our environment, is that, looking at it now, all of the experience that I gained from doing that, from just walking the line and seeing what happens, I wouldn't trade any of it for a second, because it brought me to where I am today. It made me very versatile. I think I could do just about any job on this planet and be successful at it. And that's priceless.
Yeah.
That made it all worth it. Just that.
Yeah. And you've
so don't
navigated
be afraid,
what you did want and what you didn't want.
Exactly.
Pretty fast. I'm out of here.
Exactly.
I'm gonna go over there. Yeah. Oh, that's amazing. It's so true. Vicky asked a question. With all the polarity in the world today, how does one stop from being buffeted by this?
I think what she's asking is, like, how does someone not stop from being I'm going to use the word kind of crushed or slowed down, or buffering, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay. So, and Vicky, please correct me if that's not the question that you're asking. So that's a really good question, because, as star seeds, light workers, we're all here trying to uplift and illuminate and bring us into this ascension path, to bring us to a new experience. And when we have all of this polarizing conversation, when we have polarity working against us, I think that the key here, and they're actually talking over me, the key here is to recognize that polarity, to recognize that darkness as a stark contrast to the lightness that you are, and to recognize that darkness as a gift in the experience of being able to see what it is that you desire, to see the direction that you wish to go, to know with confidence and conviction that you are of the light, that you are here to illuminate and bring forth all of the brightness and the love, and to see it for what it truly is.
Yeah.
They're saying that without this darkness and without this depth, we would not know the difference between the good versus evil. We would not know the difference between the lightness and the darkness, and we would not see the density, the shift in the density, that this polarity is a requirement in order for our physical to understand the gift that you truly are.
Wow.
Hopefully that answers that question. I think that the way to keep from feeling slowed down or, rebutted off the planet, I think, is to change the perspective and how you see it.
Yeah.
Look at it as a clarity marker. Oh man, look at all this polarity. Boy, I can see you. I see you, but I choose this instead.
Yeah. Yeah. And talk about sending a message, to the universe, to polarity, to those who are watching you, to the whole shebang of saying, I see you and I am choosing this instead. You're not winning. You can't scare me. I don't think you're scary. Yeah. I love
I'm
that.
just going to send you love because you
Yeah.
clearly need it.
Yeah. And that's something too. It's super interesting. I had this crystal sitting on my desk, and I've been holding it the entire time. And I think somebody asked me on Monday in a podcast interview, what did I think the world needs more of? And it is love. It is love for those who don't understand, who aren't, going through this ascension yet. Those who maybe perhaps won't. Those who are further ahead, that, those who are playing the parts of polarity that they came here to play. Love for every being at a soul level.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, I'm not perfect at it. But
no
just
one
trying.
is.
Yeah. Yeah. But just
except for maybe Mother Teresa. She might be perfect.
Definitely.
But not. Even then, I'm not sure.
No. And that's okay. But it's the act of loving, of I'm choosing to love even when it's hard, loving yourself, loving others. Yeah. Compassion.
Yep. Yeah. And I think that, in those times when you are just, why, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think in those moments, if you come back to a place of, like Quinn says, compassion, you come back to a place of love, and it's not just compassion and love for the one who might be bringing forth the, oh gosh, right? It's not just for them, it's for you.
Mm-hmm.
Have compassion for yourself.
Yeah.
Have love for yourself. Fill your cup. Like,
couldn't say it better.
I mean, look, like Vicky is a very powerful healer. She heals the world on a daily basis, right? She's constantly giving of herself to the betterment of everybody else. Mm-hmm. And so, look, like you need to do this for you too. If your cup is empty, what are you going to pour?
Yeah.
So, have the compassion and have the love for yourself as well as everybody else. Mm-hmm. It is infinitely available.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Boom.
Oh, all the love.
All the love. Any final words as we end off here?
Remember that you came here to create a new world, a new path by your design. Don't forget that you are ultimately creators, and that as you move through this time, that you all by yourself have the power to create a reality that is greater than anyone's possible imagination. You have this power, and don't forget it. Do not forget who you are, the powerful star seeds, light workers, beings and creations of the one infinite. Do not forget who you are, for you are powerful and can create anything. And we love you.
Beautiful. Great way to end the episode. Thank you, everybody that is watching right now and participating in the chat. That was amazing. Make sure you hit that like button, that you're subscribed, and that you share this with everybody that we're going to grow this channel and keep giving you great content. And yeah, thanks for being here, and we'll see you guys next week on Tuesday.
Bye.